You ever look at a team and just wonder, how are they still winning? That's the big question hanging over Liverpool right now. See, they keep getting the results week in, week out. But if you look just a little bit closer, you find this paradox, a winning machine that's got a potentially fatal flaw. So let's break down how Liverpool is walking this incredibly dangerous line between victory and, well, vulnerability.
And the latest piece of evidence? You just have to look at their recent Premier League match against Wolverhampton Wanderers. The final score? 2-1. Now, on the surface, you see that scoreline and you think, all right, another day at the office, just business as usual, right? 3 more points in the bag for a team with serious title ambitions. A solid result.
But what if that scoreline is hiding something? What if this win, and a bunch of others just like it, are actually masking a recurring issue, one that could completely derail their entire season? Let's dig in and find out what's really going on behind these victories.
Okay, first up, let's take a closer look at the match itself. Because while it was definitely a win, it was also a massive warning sign. So if you just looked at the highlights, you'd think everything was perfect. You've got an early goal from Ryan Gravenberch, and this is a big one. Florian Wirtz gets his first for the club. They did concede a late goal from Santiago Bueno, but they held on and continued their great run of form. All good, right? And to be fair, there were some genuinely great moments, especially when you zoom in on the individual stories that unfolded that day. Take the manager's reaction to Florian Wirtz's goal. I mean, this was a huge summer signing, and for him to finally get on the score sheet, well, for Arne Slot, it was a huge relief. You can just feel the confidence he has that this is the first of many, a real potential turning point for the player and for the team's attack. And you know, the day wasn't just about the football. It was also packed with emotion. There was this really heartfelt tribute to the late Diogo Jota, who actually played for both clubs. His children were there as mascots, and you saw both sets of fans uniting to remember him. It was a pretty powerful reminder of the community that exists in this sport. But, okay, we've covered the good stuff. Beyond the positive headlines, we have to talk about the team's Achilles heel. This is where that paradox we mentioned really starts to come into focus. Their defensive dilemma. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The team's own captain, Virgil van Dijk, has been brutally honest about their struggles with defending set pieces. He didn't mince words at all. He called it the killer. When your defensive leader, one of the best in the world, is that concerned, you know it's a serious problem. And the data? Well, it backs him up, 100%. Liverpool have conceded a Premier League high number of goals from set pieces this season. We're talking way, way above the league average. So this isn't just a hunch, it's a real statistical liability that other teams are clearly starting to exploit. So the crucial thing here is that this weakness is part of a bigger, kind of weird pattern. Tactically, Liverpool are a team of two halves. They come out strong, they control the game in the first half, but then in the second half they seem to drop deeper, they invite pressure, and they end up conceding a ton of shots. Is it a deliberate choice to save energy, or is it a sign of fatigue? Who knows? But either way, that late goal they conceded against Wolves was a textbook example of this super risky recurring issue. So you gotta figure the club knows this is a problem, which leads to the big question: how are they gonna fix it? The search for solutions is on, both in the transfer market and maybe, just maybe, from within the current squad. Well, one name that's been floated is the Bournemouth winger Antoine Semenyo. What he offers is genuine width, a different kind of threat that Liverpool sometimes lack. Now, word is Manchester City are the frontrunners to sign him, but Liverpool are definitely keeping a close eye on him, as a way to add a whole new dimension to their attack. But what about a solution that's already in the building? Well, that's where Jeremie Frimpong comes in. His raw pace is an incredible weapon, especially against teams that just sit back and defend. He gives them real tactical versatility. But the big challenge, the elephant in the room, has been his fitness. It's really limited his minutes. So relying on him is a high reward, but also a pretty high risk strategy. So when you put all of this together, you get a really clear picture of a team walking a very, very fine line. So yeah, it all boils down to this stark contrast. On one side, you've got these undeniable strengths. They're winning, they're building momentum, and key players like Wirtz are starting to find their groove. But on the other side, the weaknesses are just as clear. That glaring set-piece issue, the tactical drop-off in the second half, and these lingering concerns about their overall squad depth. And that brings us to the final critical question. Right now, they're getting away with it. They're grinding out wins despite these flaws. But as the pressure of the title race gets more and more intense, how long can they keep walking this tightrope? Can they fix what their own captain calls the killer before it ends up costing them everything?